Hi, this is Jeremy Worley with the Injury and Disability Law Center, and I wanted to make a video to really explain the process of what to expect if you find yourself involved with your minor child involved in a personal injury claim, because the process tends to work a little bit differently than an adult claim. And so I've put together a complete guide that outlines all of this, but I also wanted to make a video that hopefully helps you understand what to expect. So the first thing is, the first part of the claim works pretty similar to an adult claim, and that is the claim has to be investigated. You're going to evaluate all of the damages as an attorney. You're going to really explore the whole claim. And as the parent, you're going to work closely with the attorney to make sure they have all the information that they need. So the difference is your child won't be involved, but you will be acting on their behalf with the attorney. And so the first part of the claim really works the same. You're going to evaluate it, investigate it, ultimately, hopefully reach a settlement. And once you do, that's where the process starts to change, because for a minor settlement, there must be court approval. And here's the way that process works. The first thing is there is a guardian ad litem that's going to be appointed. It's called a GAL. The GAL is just a neutral attorney that is not for you and not against you. They are to represent your child on behalf of the court. And really, the whole process of a court approval is all about making sure that this settlement is in your child's best interest. So that guardian ad litem is going to want to speak to you as the parent. They're going to evaluate the terms of the settlement, and they're going to evaluate everything that's been accomplished on behalf of that child. And they will then issue a report to the court, either recommending that the settlement be approved, or if they are opposed to it, they will explain why. Now, you obviously hope that the GAL is going to approve of the settlement. There will then be a hearing, okay? And it's not a big, scary hearing. It's a fairly informal process, but you will have to probably testify as a parent on behalf of your child and explain how your child is doing, so that the court can ultimately take evidence and make a ruling as to whether to approve the settlement that's been obtained for the child. Now, the majority of these are approved by the court, but one of the most important steps in the process is what happens to the child's money, because if they're under the age of 18, they're a minor, they cannot legally take those funds, and those funds don't belong to you as the parent, so you're not allowed to spend those. So the funds are typically placed in one of three things. The first is sometimes they're just placed in an interest-bearing account that's going to earn interest until your child turns 18. You're not allowed to touch those funds unless the court authorizes you to. So that's a really common way the funds are handled. Another way is if the funds typically are a larger amount, you may look at a structured settlement, and that's just an investment account where the funds are going to be invested and pay the child out at some point in the future. It may be when they're 18, it could be 21. There's a lot of different ways that can be structured, but that's typically if there's a larger amount. And the third way is a special needs trust. This is only in rare circumstances, and it's only when your child has suffered potentially catastrophic types of injuries that may need permanent long-term care. So ultimately, you will work with your attorney and with the GAL and with the judge on trying to find maybe the account that's going to be right for your child. And then that's really the end of the process. What you should know, it's going to take probably 3 to 4 months longer than a typical claim would take, because you have to follow the court's guidelines and the court scheduling, which typically is going to be at least 3 to 4 months longer. And the best thing you can do, my number one advice, is make sure you have an attorney, because you are going to have this added extra step of getting court approval, and you want an attorney helping you guide you through that process. The second is just as a parent, the best thing you can do is really make sure your child is getting timely medical treatment, and that you are communicating well with the attorney. When the GAL is involved, that you're communicating with the GAL as well, just making sure there aren't delays because you're not providing the information that the parties need. So hope you find this helpful. Of course, at the Injury and Disability Law Center, we're happy to help you if you have any questions.